It's another edition of Yahtzee Beat the Runtime. I'm still mad at myself over last episode. We were so close to perfection. This is 90125 by Yes, which is, in my estimation, a pretty interesting album by a pretty interesting band. I know that this is, this is probably their most commercially successful album, or it's up there with whatever one had Roundabout on it, I'm sure, which was, probably their signature song. I think their most well-known song, Owner of a Lonely Heart, is on here. Yes has been around forever. I think they are still technically considered an active band. I don't even know if they have any of the original members left. There have been just so many people in and out of this band over the 50, 60 years that it's been around. It truly is fascinating to see how much change has gone into this band, and I'm pretty sure that this album was like, you could read about it yourself, but I think like a few members of the band were going to start another band, and they started recording stuff, and then they're like, nah, let's just make it, technically we can make it a Yes album because the core of the band's here, so it's crazy. Because it really does sound like, in some ways, nothing like the other things adjacent to it. But regardless, here's the problem. It's Yes. It's a prog rock band at heart. It's a prog rock. Maybe not. Maybe this is more of a poppy album than a prog rock album, but the songs are longer. Okay, so we're not getting a perfect score today, but we're going to do the best we can. Also, I think if I'm reading this correctly, or have read this correctly, the title of the album is just like the catalog number of the album. They were just like, okay, just call it that. Just call it 90125, which, later on would be kind of funny because it reminds you of 90210 show that came out in the 90s. Maybe that, even though obviously it was named after a zip code, was inspired by this. Maybe they were huge Yes fans. I don't know. I just think it's a curious name for an album, and it's a curious album in general by a curious band. Now, that being said, we do have goals today. We're going to try to get as many of them as possible, even though it may be a fool's errand to do so. We can at least get our small straight and then look for some fives. I would like to at least get our 4 Yahtzees. We only have 9 games to do it, so that's a good start. All 5s Yahtzee. Choo-choo. The Yahtzee train is departing the station. Next stop, bonus Yahtzee, we hope. Full House is a fine alternative. See what we can, if we can at least beat one of these. And this is going to be, well, we should be able to beat track 5. I'm looking at that and like, yep, that's the one. All right, we need 5s here to get this going. Perfect. 298. So we did beat track 1. We're perfect through 1. Move on to Hold On. And of course, the aforementioned Owner of a Lonely Heart, I think, was the big single off of this album, and probably, for better or for worse, their most well-known or successful track. I mean, you could argue that Roundabout's maybe their most well-known, successful. I would consider that more of their signature song. Like it's like this, there's like a difference between your most popular song and your signature. Like what would be a great example of this? I'll say 311 because I like 311 a lot. 311's most popular song is probably Amber. You could make the case for Down. Oh, nice. Yahtzee there. But I think it's probably Amber is probably their most commercially successful mainstream crossover, most well-known song. Their signature song, and we'll see how many 311 fans agree with me or disagree with me, is probably Applied Science. They play it literally at every concert. It is a just a filler track basically off their second album, Grassroots. But am that? Sorry. But they play it every show. It has like a pretty long drum solo that they just add on to during the live performances, which is kind of cool. But that's what I would consider their signature track. What is Kids Bop signature track? We don't know. All right, let's get some more Yahtzees on the board here. I remember having this on vinyl, not when it came out. I'm not that old, but I did have this on vinyl at one point. I don't know if I still do or not, or if I lost it when I was like one of the many times I was moving. There's a Yahtzee, but I do remember really liking the first half of this disc was very good. The second half, it did grow on me, but I didn't immediately like it as much as the first half. And I think that's probably the case with a lot of albums, honestly. That's not really giving you much insight into what this sounds like. You can check it out yourself if you want to do that. I accidentally clicked twice, so we have to live with that result. Oh, look at these sixes. We might as well go for it. Large straight. If we can get a 5, pull this off, that would be cool. Wouldn't have been enough to win, but all right, changes. This is a monster song here, 376 seconds long. I mean, we're gonna need Yahtzees on Yahtzees. We have had 3 Yahtzees today. Our quota's pretty low. It's only 4. As always, my goal is to beat the album runtime cumulative. That's our number one goal. And when we don't meet that goal, that is when I get really annoyed and upset. I think we'll be able to. Well, actually, no, I don't think we'll be able to today, but that's going to be our initial goal at least. We'll try to do that. We've already got the bonus on the left, and we just got a large straight, so that's cool. There's another large straight, although we can only get it to count one time for us. There. 5s. There's some 5s for us. Go for a Yahtzee here, maybe. Try to get a couple. 268. That's pretty good for not having a Yahtzee in that game. Move on to the second half of the disc. All right, this is a gimme. Cinema. I think this is probably like an instrumental interlude or something. I don't quite remember. Again, it's been a minute, but it's only a couple minutes long. Like, we should be able to beat this pretty handily, and we've had a couple good first rolls here, so jackpot. Of course, the next time you tune in, assuming that you're watching every episode like the dedicated fans that you are, be back to Kids Bop. Now, I have had some other suggestions come across the comments in recent weeks that I will be adding into the rotation. What does that mean? I don't know yet. I misclicked again. Damn it. Okay, we got a small straight. It's fine. I don't know if that means that we'll continue doing Kids Bop every other album or if it will drop to maybe every 3 albums. I know that could be disappointing for some people. I legitimately have not made a determination yet. We'll know next time because I don't know. I don't have any plans. Well, no, I take that back. We are going to do a Kids Bop album next. We'll be doing a couple more. I've got the next 3 episodes planned, put it that way. And it's going to go Kids Bop, normal album, back to Kids Bop. And then after that, if there's any changes in the schedule, that's when we'll start to see those take place. Would be after the next 3 episodes, because I've already kind of got those mapped out. There is loose planning that goes into these episodes, these series, as far as choosing what we're going to compete against. This is bad. I was going to say, we've already used our chance there, so we're going to have to go for some other stuff. We're not beating this runtime, I don't think, of this album. I don't think we're beating this. We may not beat any more tracks. I don't know. I would like to get a 4th Yahtzee. I think that would be a nice morale boost for us. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And this is looking really bad. I need to focus here. We need... This is awful. Awful. That saves us. That saves us. You're playing this one pretty bad, so I'm glad those two things. Oh man, this score does not look nearly as bad as this game actually was. So we beat the first track on each side. That's good. This song is beatable. Our song, it's beatable. It's only 256. We just have to play really good. And a Yahtzee would help us. Large straight is also clutch right there. Try to beat this. See, it's going to be close, I think. That's big. Some 2s. Let's see if we can convert these into a Yahtzee. What about this? We've been historically good with 1s, but it meant to be there. And we still need 3 3s. So we're doing exactly what we need to do in this game. There's a small straight. There's our 3 3s. That 4. 4 of a kind. That's big too. 250. Oh, if we would have had a slightly better chance, I probably should have just zeroed out Yahtzee and went for a better chance. Short-sighted on my part. Let's try our luck on City of Love. This is a disaster of a performance overall, but again, it was always going to be tough coming off of that high of having almost a perfect score last time and then going into a pretty long album with some long track lengths. It was never going to be a great outcome. We just had to do the best we could with it. Full house. Small straight, a large straight. 5s. Good. There's our 3s. Go for 4 of a kind 2s. We got them. We got our 2 4s. Now we can just go for that Yahtzee if we wish. 259. Let's get some more 1s. We need 1 more Yahtzee. Oh, we got it. The 1s came through. All right. Now we move on to the closing track, which is 7.5 minutes. I would love to beat this because I think it would just be a monumental event in the history of this series. But we would need about 3 Yahtzees and some really good play, I'm thinking. We've got the good play, but we're running out of real estate. 8 Yahtzees. And no, that is not a reference to Doom, which is a series on the channel that you should also. But of course, you probably already are. I'm sure you're already subscribed and everything. If not, I mean, you could check and see if you're subscribed. And if not, then subscribe. Which I totally get because I'll watch like YouTube series and someone say, make sure to subscribe. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. I'll just manually search for your videos each time. Let's just get as many 6s as we can. Oh, of course. It's going to give us the Yahtzee that we can't score on. And that would have been funny. 206. We broke 70 on our rating. We beat 3 songs, which is actually pretty good. Oh, yeah, we did beat City of Love. Forgot about that. Didn't really celebrate that one. We actually did not do too bad in getting close to the album runtime either. So, okay. Not too bad of a drop off in quality from our Kids Bop adventures, but you know what will make us feel better after this is another Kids Bop album. So next time join me for, I think we're up to Kids Bop 9 now, so we're still going through the numbered ones. We'll see you then. And again, yeah, just check and see if you're subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe. If you're doubting whether you are or not, just check first, okay? But ultimately, you do want to be subscribed here. Yes.